So let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. You can have both feet flat on the floor. And really try to feel the sensation of, underneath your feet. So whether you're in socks or on a carpet or on a floor or on radiant heat, how wonderful that would be. Have your knees about a hip's width apart, shoulders are aligned with the hips. And imagine your spine is this really beautiful string of pearls of light, stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Imagine you're lengthening your spine, your shoulders are aligned with the hips, and as best you can, your ears aligned with your shoulders. So you just have to kind of lengthen, imagine your ears are kind of your Dr. Spock ears, and just pull on the top, lengthen the neck, and then just glide the neck backwards. Bring your attention to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead and the eyebrows, the eyes, back of the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, the jaw, the back of the tongue, the back of the head. Just release any tension in the neck. Allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. If you like, you can have your hands just resting comfortably in your lap. If you have them actually resting on the arms of your chair, if you're sitting in a chair, it does kind of help to relax the shoulders a bit. So if it's not comfortable for you for whatever reason, to have your hands in your lap, you can rest them on your thighs. And your eyes, I haven't really addressed this much, but they normally in meditation, they're sort of looking down the length of the nose to a spot maybe a couple of inches ahead of you. And if you like, if you're feeling a little bit sleepy, you can crack your eyes open, and you just have this kind of like a dristy gaze. Kind of an unfocused gaze. Or just crack your eyes open, let some light in. This will just help you to stop falling asleep. So now notice the sensations of the breath, those at the base of the nose, around the nostrils, the chest cavity, and your belly. As you inhale and exhale, then be aware of any sound or smells, sort of any extra sensory information in your environment. And then just notice what's going on in the mind this evening. And I guess 100% it'll be different than it was this morning. So I guess it depends what you do in the day, So this morning I got up around 5:45 and had a shower because my chiropractor said that's what my throat needs while it's healing. Then we did our meditation. Then I went to the YMCA and taught another class. Then did a yoga class and we practiced Nadi Shodhana, which is alternate nostril breathing, after I'd done 9-round breathing with my YMCA people. And we finalized our retreat this afternoon, just closed everything out, had a meeting with the people at the property there. And then I came home and now I'm doing Vajrasattva. So my mind, after all that meditation today, I have to say my mind's, and yoga, my mind's a lot different this evening than it was this morning when I woke up. So I find that encouraging that the mind can change, particularly, if you wake up, you maybe had a bad sleep or a bit of a nightmare or worried about something. Just know in your mind it won't be the same, perhaps in a few hours, which is kind of a relief. Just notice the mind can change and be curious about what's in the mind right now. And then just view it with a level of objectivity. And then let's bring to mind all our people of our life. And for those of you who've been doing this practice now for over 4 years, which I just, again, blows my mind. We're into our 5th year of doing this. Notice how this friend, enemy, stranger configuration has maybe changed in your own life. I think that's also encouraging too, this idea of change and impermanence. So bring to mind your very precious, your friends, your loved ones. And then the people you don't like so much, who you find irritating, and then your strangers. And just realize they're all equal. They're just like you and me in their wish to be happy, their wish to be free from suffering, and having this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. And, think about Kimberly's roommate, William, who passed away, I don't know, was it yesterday or today? I can't remember if what you said. And then, of course, for our precious Venerable Ingrid, who has transitioned yesterday, day before, yesterday, I think. And then for Kimberly. And anyone else here, anybody else you can think of. And then think, there is no negativity that can't be purified. And I just love that so much. And I think I told you guys once before, I went into a prison years ago when I was working for the prison project. And I went in there and we did Vajrasattva in there with the men. They were so relieved to know that there was something they could do. It was extraordinary. That relief on their faces was just kind of moving and also very humbling. And also, mind you, the prisoners that will come to those classes, they're pretty much in the top 10% of prisoners who are looking to, better themselves in some way. It was it was quite touching. I'll never forget it. It was like 2006, I think. So anyway. So we create negativity with our mind. And so equally, we can change that by creating positivity instead. So we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done, to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and we turn to the Buddha, Vajrasattva, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. So we're not needing Buddha to forgive us, we're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, this beautiful white Buddha. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. So maybe if you want to take a quick look at the image, because of time, I won't run through the visualization in such detail. But just his arms are crossed at his heart. The left is underneath the right. The left's holding a bell representing wisdom. The right holds a vajra, and this represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents enlightenment. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I am enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of, people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think about those people who've harmed you, and particularly these people, because the harm they've caused you is going to result a suffering for them in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of mantra and visualization. So we start with the body. Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely, and it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you, and it disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama mimutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama mimutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe, vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is this purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipukaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So now feel your speech is completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And this really does include you, because you read everything you write, you hear everything you say. And next is the purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you imagine you walk into a room, it's pitch black, you flick on the switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness in the room. I mean, we know that, except when there's a power outage. But anyway, imagine the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, and all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all the attachment and neediness and depression and anger and bitterness and grudges, resentment, jealousy, all of this is instantly dispelled, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And then think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness, forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And now we do like a final sweep. So we're purifying even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So it's almost like the little weeds. Just even you leave a little tiny part of a plant or a seed, they'll come back. So it's like this. We're just kind of doing this extra wash kind of thing. So imagine now again, nectar flowing down, purifying the negativities of this body, the nectar flowing up, purifying the negativities of the speech, and the light coming and just kind of blasting all of the delusions of the mind. So, and with this action of all these three things happening at the same time, I know it's a little busy, but imagine you've completely eradicated even the subtlest imprint of negative energy from your consciousness. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So now feel you're completely purified. There's just not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to this power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's crucial because this is where you decide you want to refrain from harming with your body and your speech and your mind. And without making this decision, you're going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. We just have so many habits that we come in with. So just kind of, it's a little bit, we're just on autopilot. So we just have to make a decision and then need to identify some things that we'd like to work on. So think about something you'd like to work on, maybe between now and tomorrow. It doesn't have to be all day. It doesn't have to be, 5 weeks worth or a year's worth. It's just look at it, maybe think about it for something, maybe 30 seconds or a minute or 5 minutes. And then just rejoice in your efforts. And then Vajrasattva is delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next Rinpoche talked about meditating a little bit on emptiness. So he would say, in emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. You can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own mind, their own side. You can also think the way things are appearing to me might not be necessarily the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's just do our chanting the names of Manjushri. Protector, we rejoice. How excellent what you have clearly taught. Through your lofty aim, through you, our lofty aim has been achieved, which leads to true and full awakening. And so the aims of helpless mundane beings who seek the fruits of perfect liberation, just this taught in the Mahajala, is the noble path that leads to excellence. I think that means Mahayana. With largeness, vastness, and profundity, with meaning, achieving beings' aims, just this comprises every Buddha's sphere. Just this is taught by all awakened ones. Wow, we finished yet another one. This concludes the supreme chanting of the names of the Blessed One, Manjushri, the wisdom deity. It was extracted from the noble net of illusion, a Mahayana Tantra in 16,000 parts from its chapter on the net of Samadhi. It was spoken by the Blessed One, Shakyamuni, the Tathagata. Okay, let's just dedicate for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and then think of all your holy and not holy precious gurus. And then again, strong wish for William to have either a precious human rebirth or a rebirth in a pure realm. And same for our precious Venerable Ingrid. And then Kimberly, may you have a long life, and everybody else as well. Lots of love. Good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Nice to see you all. Thank you, Bill, for hosting, or Shayla, whoever it was. Okay, bye.
Thank